Welcome to Big Human Dead.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going? I am Buddy Black. This is Rob Ayers. We've said it 1,000 times. We have a comic book, whatever.
Yeah, there's water there.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I was I don't know where I'm going with this.
What does the future hold for us?
Yeah,
what is has this set up?
Where are we? That was brilliant, Rob.
Thank you.
I have to say, yes. Where are we going? Where am I going with this? Hey, speaking of the future, let's talk about some sci-fi horror today. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Forget about it. I can
dig it. I like science fiction horror.
But I like it very much.
Yeah, it's like a love-hate relationship because so much of it is so bad, and I really enjoy inflicting it on myself. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's when science fiction horror works, or when it's something cool or something I haven't seen before, it's really something special. It's really out there. I mean, horror itself, by nature, has to push the boundaries and usually shows something that we've never seen before, whether it's something violent or something inventive, something cool. Drama doesn't do this. Drama, like we all know drama. We've all, yelled at ourselves in our heads for 13 hours a day. And so drama holds no surprises. Period pieces hold no surprises. Action rarely holds surprises. Horror, that one gives the filmmakers free rein to live and die by their mistakes, and they do valiantly. And in doing so, in these giant vehicles, flying down in flames of creation, we usually see something kind of cool. Science fiction horror has to go way out there.
Yeah, I see your point. I think what you're trying to say is that we can't look at the poster for a horror movie, right, and just infer what's going to happen in the movie.
Yes.
Sci-fi horror. I don't know. I think they generally. I think with sci-fi horror, oftentimes these directors are given like way too much rope to hang themselves with.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just turns into life force.
What the hell is the life force is magical.
Sometimes
oh man.
Sometimes a sci-fi horror movie can turn into life force. I'm just saying.
You mean like a cinematic gem? Is that what you mean?
Man, I remember being a kid and being like, "Oh shit!" Like, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre like movies. Like, this is incredible. And I'm like looking at more stuff that Tobe Hooper did. I'm like, "Oh, this is bitching." Like, I didn't know he did Poltergeist. I got to watch that again. Like, this is incredible. And then it's like, "Oh shit, this movie Life Force, like totally by Tobe Hooper. Like, this is gonna be amazing." And I turned it on, and it's just
awesome.
Just a weird movie.
It's super weird.
A lot of weird stuff happening in that movie.
It's really like it seems like he didn't know if he was ever going to make another horror movie again.
Yeah.
And so he just took his favorite moments or favorite scenes in his head from every horror genre and shoved them right into Life Force. You got a zombie, you've got, vampires, you've got a space vixen, you've got astronauts, you've got rampaging power demons, you got everything.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay, so I guess just in order to make it interesting, let's decide. Firstly, we have to set the parameters of what is a sci-fi horror film.
Yeah, does this have to happen solely in space, or can it be aliens visiting?
Yeah,
I think horrific havoc.
Yeah, I think anything where either A, it takes place in space, B, like the antagonist, or I guess protagonist, although I can't think of too many of those, but like the antagonist is an alien or some sort of creature from whatever outer space or whatever you want to call it. I think the things that cannot be classified as sci-fi horror are just MacGuffins that use science instead of like for whatever reason to justify a regular horror movie. Like, yes, 28 Days Later is a horror movie, and their quote unquote zombies are technically all infected by a disease.
So it's no science gone awry.
I don't think you're just allowed. You're not allowed to just do that. No.
Right on.
Or, and I mean, you know, like those are some rough parameters, and they can be debated, I guess, as we continue in this dialogue. Yeah,
I can dig it.
So, and I guess the next thing, and the question is, which one of these sci-fi horror films could be most likely to happen?
Yeah, batteries not included, hands down, of course.
You
can write to us at bighumandead@gmail.com. Thanks for kind of listening tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Was that a horror movie?
No, not at all.
That's what I was trying to think. It's like, was there another movie called Batteries Not Included?
That was the cute one with like little GoBots
that was a weird
flying around.
That came out around the same time as Flight of the Navigator and Explorers.
Yes, 2 good movies.
Explorers is amazing.
Yeah.
I somehow like accidentally watch that movie every 3 or 4 years. Like it's just always on TV, or I'm at a buddy's place and it's on.
Right
and I'm like, oh, fucking Explorers. This movie's incredible.
Yeah.
And Explorers is a fantastic movie. I think it's safe to say that we can get rid of any of the Jason X's and the Leprechaun in Spaces. And
well, there goes my 30 minutes.
Yeah.
On the back end of the hour.
Yeah, I guess so.
I really like Jason 10.
I didn't even bother.
I love it. It's so fucking ridiculous. Holy Jesus.
What was that?
It's a knife that I had perched on top of a precarious peak on my desk, on the corner of my desk. But now, danger has been averted. It's a safe zone now.
All right.
And, all right.
Okay.
Yes, I really like Jason 10. The Jason X, Jason, as you wish. It's so ridiculous, and it's so parts of, like some levels of it, some layers, if I may be so bold, are so poorly constructed and executed. But then other layers are so comfortable, you know? I don't know, like it's the characters. These characters are archetypes. Like they really win all out for the archetypal characters,
right?
And they kept Jason exactly the same as he was in the very beginning of the whole series.
They changed his mask though, so he looked like one of the bad guys from Power Rangers.
Yes, the revamp is so stupid. And that only adds to my elation when I watch it. It's great.
I didn't bother with Jason X because the first like in space, you know, X in space movie I saw was Leprechaun in space.
Okay, this one I missed. I'm glad you caught that one for me.
The Leprechaun movies are unbelievably entertaining. Like just
see, this is where we differ. Like this is the full moon.
It's the most ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous premise for like a slasher monster ever. Like, ooh,
totally.
What about a leprechaun? It's like, yes, let's do it. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I have not actually gotten through a full movie of these except for the first one. Of course, the epic starring the great Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
But the others, I have yet to actually watch the entirety of. I just, I don't know, man.
The Leprechaun movies are just a ridiculous amount of fun. Anyways, with Leprechaun in space, though, you know how when you're watching a movie and like the film quality and the acting and the editing and the writing are so poor that you just expect the actors to just start having sex with each other at any moment. Like it's just like this is just going to be a porno movie without all of the sex. So it's like what am I doing here? Like So yeah, the Leprechaun in Space movie was so bad. It was a porn movie without the sex that I just turned it off. Like this is brutally
bold
bad
statement, man.
Which is why I never bothered with Friday
Jason
the 13th in outer space or Hellraiser in outer space or any of those.
Did Warwick Davis still play the Leprechaun while in space?
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure that guy will do anything.
That's dedication right there. I mean, that guy must be really down for the cause. Because whenever I see him in interviews, which isn't so often, but if ever he's captured outside of an acting job, with not playing a character, he seems like such a classy guy. But then to picture him all dolled up on a space set is really difficult to process.
I think that Warwick Davis has an excellent understanding of his contribution, his contribution to cinema. Like he's been doing it
substantial.
He's been doing it so long that I think when the newer Star Wars movies came out, he was playing sometimes 2-3 characters a movie, like just to stand there in the background because they were going to give him a check to do it anyways. Like I don't think he turns down roles too often. Yeah,
fair enough.
Anyways, so let's agree that Jason X and Leprechaun in Space and Leprechaun in Space and Hellraiser in Space and all of those.
Hellraiser in Space, I like that one too. Actually,
I didn't bother. No,
we're done.
Yeah, Leprechaun.
You're missing out.
Leprechaun in Space ruined the whole X in Space genre.
Thanks, Dionne Warwick Davis, motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to IMDb that name, but that's okay. Anyways, so of these movies,
science fiction horror subgenre,
which do you think could maybe happen?
Okay.
Like I think it's fair to say that many Cronenberg movies could be categorized as
speculative
science fiction horror. Like
I think all of them except for his newer ones.
Yeah,
I think that was kind of his bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Like this body horror and this I don't know, what would you call it? It's like body horror.
Body horror.
It's just body horror.
Is exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've alluded to this difference before, but like I love Cronenberg's movies.
Mm-hmm.
You could take him or leave him.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I don't think you can sit through Existence and then have it end and turn to your buddy and say, to anyone, even yourself, and say, yeah, I want to see more of that guy's stuff. That movie.
Speaking of Cronenberg and Jason X, he's in that. He plays a character in Jason 10.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. I can see. But the look on your face is just such elation. It's such
that's incredible.
Wow, why didn't someone tell me before?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe, Cronenberg's movies, I feel like they have been kind of a template of where we shouldn't go because we're getting, not dangerously close, but we are skirting the edges of that kind of stuff at any given moment. Whether it's his movies from the early 80s or from the 90s. Not so much in the last few years, like History of Violence. It's really good.
I love that movie, but yeah.
Yeah. what's the other one he did?
Spider.
Eastern Promises.
Eastern Promises.
Spider.
Spider was
ever since
great.
Spider,
Yeah.
he's kind of gone more into like brain horror and emotional horror.
Yeah.
But before that, totally, and yeah, not so much Existence, but movies like The
Fly, obviously, like The Fly
clearly
is, you know.
Yeah, and
Was it Chiller? Was his first one? Shivers.
Yeah.
No, Chiller was the. Yeah, that was another. I always get what's his, Wes Craven and what's the other dude? Just passed away. It was really sad.
Oh yeah, Wes Craven.
Yeah, Wes Craven and Clive Barker. I always got those two. But Chiller, yeah, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Shivers could. That was actually based on a condo complex in Montreal, and I think it was shot there too. But
with a real sex slug infestation?
I think it was something to do with just like, I don't know, gentrification and all of that. Like, was that sort of idea?
I dig it.
Yeah.
There's one movie that he made. It's one of his first movies. I think it's his second movie, and it was more of a student film than anything, or I don't know, super independent, as you wish. And it's called Crimes of the Future.
Oh, okay.
And this movie, I think, is really good. It's a little slow, a little dry, and you can see it's clear that he's still kind of figuring out his style, but the story itself is pure for sure Cronenberg, and it's all about people who come to this institution where they have psychological, like deep-rooted psychological fetishes.
Okay.
And these people try to they don't get cured from this, but in this institution, these fetishes are more fostered and then studied instead of abolished or therapeutically annihilated.
Okay.
And it all goes astray and amok and awry and all this stuff, but in a very
gets all
quiet
Cronenberg-y.
way. It gets really Cronenberg-y. It gets all Cronened up by the end, of course. And
that sounds like a delicious cocktail, actually.
Yeah.
Cronenberg-y.
Cronenberg.
Sounds
like
a nice whiskey.
Yeah. Lovey, do we have any more of the Cronenberg-y in the cellar? No? No? Okay. So yeah, I think you're right. Like any of the older Cronenberg movies could probably happen given the right circumstances. I mean, of course, none of them are actually going to happen because, I mean, there was one where he had Marilyn Chambers as a vampire with a little worm that came out of her armpit to suck the lifeblood out of people. So I don't think that's actually going to. I don't think any of his movies are actually going to happen. But
like,
I think in a few years,
happen? Yeah,
exactly. With the completely worst situation or worst case scenario happens here and there in the world of science and the universe, we won't be too surprised if we wake up and find ourselves in a Cronenberg-esque movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's true. Like his are right around the bend.
Now, as we discussed, like last, I think in our last episode even we discussed briefly. I can't remember how we came upon it, but it was Ghosts of Mars.
Oy.
I skipped that because we talked about how John Carpenter is weird.
Yeah, it's good because I saw it twice. So I saw it once for you and once for me.
So now that we have discovered water on Mars, it's likely that we're going to be going there probably a lot sooner than we thought we were.
Yeah, next week I think. Who knows? Got a bus scheduled.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. Yeah. I ordered something from Amazon. It's supposed to come next week, so I might just meet you there if that's okay.
Right on.
Is Ghosts of Mars likely to happen? Could you see that happening? I have zero idea what the movie's about other than Ice Cube
Yeah.
gatting aliens on Mars, and I'm sure
If I remember
he's
correctly,
a trucker or something. I don't know.
Yes. If I remember correctly, and I know I've seen it twice. I just went on record saying I saw it twice. But I'm probably still going to misrepresent it because this movie sucks hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And, things get jostled. And I'm sure I was trying to kill some of the memory with whiskey or drugs.
Sure.
During or after. But as I remember it, it's that there's mines, or they're colonizing, or there's some kind of resource excavating on Mars. And then they find some kind of sign of life, be it a box or containment thing that's been, that's super ancient, and they want to know what it is, and then they break it open, and then this tribe of psychos pop out and start fucking things up.
Okay.
And this is a very simplified arrangement of the plot.
Yeah.
But so be it. I'm not going to watch it a third time and suffer just so I can clarify and do it justice.
I'm literally never going to watch that movie, so I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
But
at the end, they blow their magic gold whistle, and Falcor comes swooping down from the stars.
Oh, wow.
And saves the last girl and Trucker Cube, Ice Cube, and they fly off into Neverland together.
That's pretty
Live
cool.
happily ever after.
Yeah. I'm really happy that Falcor got some work after Neverending Story. Like
Yes.
that's
Me too.
like I was really hoping that guy would have a full and rich career.
We were all pretty amped when we saw it. When we finally got to the end and saw Falcor, boom, paycheck. Good job, Fal.
That's a great ending to any movie.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think Ghosts of Mars can happen because it's stupid.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that, because I was almost thinking that whatever seems most likely would actually have to be so just bananas that there's no way that you could, it would have to defy all logic.
Yeah.
But yet it would still be outer spacey.
Yes.
So killer clowns from outer space?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, who's to say? Who's to say?
Yeah.
That was my review of the whole movie. Right after I stumbled out of the theater in a haze and said, "Yeah, who's to say?" I grabbed the first person I saw on the sidewalk, and I grabbed it and said, "Hey, who's to say?"
Oh man.
Yeah, I kind of dig this new. I don't know how new it is, like 2012, 2013. There were a couple movies, horror science fiction movies, that came out that kind of took this path of this might be the future, or this might have already happened and it's been covered up. Like, what was that one? Apollo 18? Did you see this one? I thought it was kind of cool.
I was really excited to see this movie, and then I read some reviews and sort of, along the same lines of are based on a true story sort of a thing. Like, my problem with every mockumentary, more or less every mockumentary I've seen, is that they just break their own rules, at the beginning of the third act, because it's more convenient for them. Right. And I had read that they were sort of doing that, and then I started thinking about it more, and it was like, well, what do you, did you, I can understand if you have a video camera and you didn't shut it off or whatever, but this guy's got a Super 8 camera, because doesn't it take place in the 60s or something like that?
Yeah, in the 60s or early 70s. That's right, they do.
It's don't they all die? And how do they get the
I don't remember. I don't actually remember the very end, but that does sound familiar. That when I was watching it, that there was something about that kind of sticks out in my head. That they flip flopped on this.
It seemed like a
little bit.
super cool idea. Like, again, I was
Yeah,
really
it is.
excited to see this movie, and then I started reading some stuff about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It is a cool movie.
Yeah.
A cool premise, and I dig the premise. There was another movie that came out around the same time about Mars. I think it's the Last Days on Mars, or the Last Days of Mars, or
Right.
and this one I liked a little more. It's a little slower, but it has Liev Schreiber, who I'll
Yeah.
watch tie his shoes for half an hour. I don't
Yeah,
give
exactly.
a shit. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And this movie is it's a little more subdued, but it's like this one is straight up. Here's a story. There's no found footage gimmick. There's no nothing. This is just these people go to Mars, and they're so far away they're fucked, and then these weird things start happening. They find this thing. It's very simple. I liked how simple it was.
Mm-hmm.
They do find life on Mars, and it's not as cool as they want to think it is.
Yeah.
And now they have to leave. And that's it. And I kind of dug it. Like this one, I kind of dug, and it has I guess if it has any gimmick, it has the gimmick that we're yammering on about tonight. This whole what if.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who's
maybe.
to say? Yeah.
Who's to say? Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, I was just thinking about it, and I think that, and this is sort of crossing the line between,
Mm-hmm.
sci-fi horror and then action horror, sci-fi, whatever. Which,
Okay.
and if there's one sort of grievance that I have with a lot of sci-fi horror is that it sort of just degrades into an action movie after
Totally.
a while. But I think that Predator could happen, like Predator 1. I could see that
fair
happening.
enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
But not Predator 2?
No, it took place in the city. Like, I don't think that a predator would be interested in hunting me.
Right.
Like, if it's all about the hunt. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, check out this kind of, scrawny, kind of like out of shape dude
Mm-hmm.
riding the subway. Like, Predator's not interested in
You don't
me.
think every city has a Danny Glover?
I mean, yes, every city has a Danny Glover. That's
That's the hunt, baby.
that's my
That's
mantra. Yeah.
That's the thrill. That's my mantra. Where am I? What am I doing? Am I in the city? Okay, good. Because
If the city doesn't, if the city you live in doesn't have a Danny Glover, that means you're the Danny Glover.
right, yeah.
Which is
You have to rise to the challenge.
damn right. No, I could see Predator 1 happening.
Right on.
It's a classified military incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a movie. This is also kind of pushing the limit of our parameters, but I think it was pretty cool. There were a couple really creepy moments, I thought, and it was also done really well. And it is called Banshee Chapter.
Okay.
And this kind of flew under the radar. This came out, I think it came out a couple of years ago or maybe a year ago, when there was just a huge flurry of these low budget found footage movies.
Yeah.
And somehow a few of them snagged a couple good actors.
Okay.
And this is one of them. This one, they got Ted Levine
Oh wow.
to play. And I fucking love Ted Levine. And in this one, Ted Levine plays a very obvious version of Hunter S. Thompson,
Okay.
which is super crazy to see Ted Levine do Hunter S. Thompson, and he does it. I mean, he does it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's almost indistinguishable. It's really like he's just doing a really superb imitation of any interview you've seen of Hunter S. Thompson in his 50s and 60s.
Right.
And the story itself is based on the H.P. Lovecraft story From Beyond.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And they took a lot of liberties with it. They
Sure,
really
yeah.
packed a bunch of modernisms and everything into it.
Yeah.
But essentially it's, there's a facility or some kind of complex that's highly guarded and very secretive, and they're doing experiments with extra dimensional something, maybe not, maybe it's whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it leaks out and it starts to affect the people. And Ted Levine is hip to it because he's this great reporter journalist, but he doesn't want to say because it's conspiracy nonsense. And then there's this fangirl student of journalism who scores this interview with Ted LaHunter, and he gives the interview and things get crazy. He gets high and drunk and everything goes sideways and it's all fucked up as if it were a Hunter S. Thompson adventure.
Yeah.
But then shit goes way south because this whole conspiracy comes to bite him in the ass, and it's pretty tight. Like this one I really dug, and I was just waiting. Every scene I was waiting for it to unravel. But it didn't. And so I think that one actually could be. I mean, who's to say? Because
who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Yeah. Tell me there aren't extra dimensional, crazy assholes just waiting to infect our brains.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. It's possible. I mean, I was thinking about some really wacky ones too, like Robot Monster. I was thinking about that one.
Yes.
Where, sure.
Why not?
Just, I don't know,
gorilla.
six people
Silly
go to
head.
Mars or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they went. I can't remember.
Wait,
where
Mars?
they went.
I always thought they were here on Earth. Like Earth was just destroyed.
No, they went to because they. Oh no, that was here on Earth. That's right,
Yeah.
it was here on Earth because they
They're
had
like the
that-
last family on
They
Earth.
got an injection to protect them from Earth stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's to say? You never
Who's
know.
who's
to say? Who's to say?
Yeah. I think it's actually pretty straightforward and clear that Alien will happen.
Can we?
Like, there's really-
Can we talk about Lawnmower Man for a minute though?
I mean, do you have to ask?
Yeah. Lawnmower Man.
I fucking love
You know?
Lawnmower Man.
No one really knows how to use the internet
Yeah.
right now.
Except for Jeff Fahey.
Yeah.
Where's he been the last couple years?
Right? Be really sad if we found out he was dead.
That would be a real drag. I'm sure he's not.
I'm
I would
looking
have
it up.
sensed it. We would have sensed it.
No, he's still alive. But
Hell yeah, because he's awesome.
yeah. Actually, sorry, it's funny. Just speaking about all that and just touching on the whole, and especially any chance that I get to shit on Existence, I will happily do that.
Fair enough.
My brother was telling me that he was watching American Ninja 4 or 5 yesterday,
Okay.
and the kid in the movie, like, there's really no American Ninja anymore. It's just this dude that's entrusted of, like, taking care of this 12-year-old kid who's the last blood lineage, the last living survivor of this prominent ninja clan.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Anyways, but this kid can drive cars expertly and fly planes and kind of do whatever solely
The
due
Ninja
to the,
Handbook really kind of
solely
put some
due to the
annexes
fact
on
that he has a Sega Game Gear. So
Okay.
because he races cars on his Game Gear, he can fly a cargo plane, which
Yes.
I was just and with fucking Existence. I think looking back, like maybe in 30, 40 years, humanity will be able to create an entire genre of films about video games made by people who, like, on purpose, I guess, never ever attempted to play a video game in their entire life for, like, research of doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
Hey, I'm writing a movie. It's about video games or something stupid. I don't know. It's like, hey, I've never played a video game. Does your son have video games? Can I just come over and just, like, I'll just sit there and watch him play it? Like, I don't think. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, Alien for sure.
Yeah. I think this one just seems inevitable to me.
Yeah.
Actually, because it makes sense that we would just start sucking resources from other places.
Yeah.
That clearly, like the Nostromo was. Maybe they were on a mission to land somewhere, take the resources, and refine it on their way back to Earth. And it also makes sense that somewhere in the universe there is one species, one life form that has just evolved into insect-like survival.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's really just a forecast of what we're already doing, paired with the evidence of what nature does anyway. And so it's really, it would be silly to think that could not happen.
And I think collectively, if there was one human being that we would model like androids after,
it would be Lance.
It would be Lance Hendricks.
Yes, and that was for aliens. Do you think we'll start with Ian Holmes first?
Oh yeah, possibly. Yeah,
and then move to Lance.
No. We'll just jump straight to Lance.
Skip straight to Lance.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Ian. We love Ian. We want you around for a long time, Ian. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could see Alien happening. Like all of my favorite sci-fi horror movie, because I don't really believe in God.
Right.
And Event Horizon, you kind of have to believe in God.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to believe in God to enjoy that movie, but like
no.
To consider the possibility of Event Horizon, you would have to believe in a heaven or a hell, and that's not. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question. I think we've made it clear a couple times that Event Horizon is the end-all be-all of science fiction horror.
That's true. Sorry, I think it's also important to say that Killer Clouds from Outer Space, you and I are comfortable saying, hey, who's to say? Who's to say that could or could not happen?
Right.
But you and I are very, very sure that there is no heaven or hell. Like
yeah. Who's to say? I'm to say.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say that who's to say the Lawnmower Man couldn't happen?
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there a God? Hell no.
Yeah, no. Why would there be? Come on, don't be stupid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Grow up.
Yeah. Especially it's great, especially since we based this yes or no, this yay or nay on a movie, which in itself is a fake thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a faith or a belief that's been written about. It's just a movie.
Just fuck it. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my lifetime, our lifetime, I think that Predator could happen.
Right.
I think that maybe Predator already happened.
Oh. Who's to say?
Who's to say? All right, this is getting stupid. All right, let's.
All right.
So we've just. You said Alien. I said Predator. Let's come back and I guess talk about which. I don't think we can. There's really no point in talking about which sci-fi horror movies are least likely
couldn't happen
to happen, because I sort of feel like we covered everything all together. Let's come back. Let's do a joke, and then maybe we can just riff about some of our favorite ones, and
right on.
Maybe just even discuss the genre a little bit more, because I think it was interesting that you were saying that, or that we were saying that. They sort of degrade into action movies pretty fast. And
totally.
If we can think of any that don't do that, that would be cool. Okay, so I in lieu of a bit today, I just I just wanted to ask you a few questions that maybe I don't know about you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm braced.
I guess Do you believe in extraterrestrials? And if so, to what end?
If so, to what end? Yeah, it would be foolish to say that there's no other life forms in the universe.
It's hella arrogant.
It's
say
straight
that.
up hella arrogant.
It's hella arrogant.
But do they visit us to the extent that rumors claim, no, I don't think so.
No?
I think that's a real stretch.
Yeah.
And I am incredibly skeptical on all of this stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. If they've come, yeah, go ahead.
No, so no, go ahead, sorry.
If they've come by and checked us out, all right, I'll buy that. But, maybe just because I've never had any kind of experience at all in any way, shape, or form, that I am so quick to dismiss all of these, millions of rumors. But it just doesn't click with me.
So, like, in no way do you, like, maybe don't believe, but, like, in no way you are... No,
I'm not sold on it.
In no way do you think it's likely that, any sort of, alien,
I don't think it's likely.
Area 51 business ever went down and the government covered anything up? Like, no way?
I don't think so.
No?
If that all happens to come out and it's true and if it's confirmed, then I won't be shocked. I won't be, oh, my goodness,
scandalous.
I've been such a fool all these years. But until then I'm going to stand on this side of the fence.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, here's another question. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially with all of this Mars stuff going on. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the. I don't want to call it an initiative, but there was a program or a fundraiser or something like that.
Yeah, the Mars One or something like that.
Yeah. That's it. That's what it was called. And I was. I guess a couple of months ago, there was like a video where they were interviewing. I don't even think they were a top anything candidates, but it was like a bunch of candidates that had signed up for this thing. Yeah. And some of the stories were, I mean, all of them were sad. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, hey, I'm going to leave, and I like, hey, I'm 25 years old, and I'm going to leave and do this, and like, you guys will literally never see me again. Right. Would that be anything that you would?
The answer is yes. I thought about signing up for that. Totally.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And the thing that stopped me, there's two things that stopped me. One is I have Meniere's. Right now I have a condition with my balance. Like my ears are not so hot. Yeah. And so I would actually not make it through the space travel. Yeah. And so I would live, but I would just be spinning around. I'd be Dizzy Miss Lizzie, just spinning around, throwing up all over the spaceship. And no one needs that. And the other thing is that there's just too much to do right here for me right now. Like I really would like to be rich and famous. And I don't think I could pull that off in Mars. Well, I mean, maybe I could, but it would be it'd be kind of an easy game to run. I mean, there's only going to be like 100 of us at the most. And,
you're not gonna move to Mars and become a water baron, right? But that's a sweet idea.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be there, and like I can draw really well. At the risk of sounding modest, I'm a really great artist. Sure. And so I'm gonna be on Mars, and then I'm gonna be the best artist in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And
so I kind of.
You fast track that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And while I'm all for, expediting this process, right? I want to earn it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. So
but I would love to see Mars. And I don't know if given the chance, if they said, "Oh, shit, we just found one extra seat that we didn't realize I thought we sold all the tickets. Do you want to come?" Maybe I would. Yeah. It's too crazy of an opportunity, and I don't know if I could pass it up.
I mean, I've been to Nevada.
Okay. That's kind of far from Toronto.
I've been to Death Valley. And like, there's not a lot going on in Death Valley. You know, like
oh, you mean like the terrain? I thought you were making a comparison from Toronto to Death Valley.
No,
like
no.
itself.
I'm just, like, Mars. It's like, hey, it's a bunch of rocks and it's red, and like, it's you can't.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks to, like the elements are gonna fuck you up, whatever,
Right.
and like, like, it's like, hey, will you drop everything that you have going on right now to just move to Death Valley and just grow your own plants? It's like, no, I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd do that.
Do you think all the people that are going to be famous or known for their choice, or do you think it's going to be kind of like the way human nature is now, that there's going to be a few shining stars that managed everything and they're going to get all the credit, and then there's going to be Todd, who figured out how to, make glass out of Mars dirt in an environment that wouldn't normally allow for glass making?
When I first heard about this exercise, it was my understanding that they were going to pick, I don't know, whatever, like 10, 12 people, I don't care, but like they were going to pick a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be sort of like filmed like a reality show for like the length of the trip that it took, and then the time that it was on there or whatever. Like, that was my understanding. And then they decided kind of not to do that, which, like, I'm okay with that, because I think I don't know, like, it's one thing to say, like, hey, we're auditioning for The Bachelorette, put in your submissions, and like, that will cost you literally 100% of your integrity to be on The Bachelorette, but it's not going to cost you your life like it would cost you to be, 15 minutes famous on the Mars One project. So I was happy about that. But again, with this video I was watching, like, there was this gentleman who was, I think he was like 35, and he still lived with his parents.
All right.
And
sounding good so far.
Yeah, he was one of these people that it was just like, I don't know, just spent their entire lives in academia and just hadn't really experienced anything. And as much as
and so Mars is going to be his first venture out of the nest.
I guess so. And
right on.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess it was like, that's cool. And I guess if there's anyone who should go is, maybe the guy that doesn't really appreciate,
the bookish late bloomer.
Yeah, it doesn't really appreciate anything. Like, he doesn't know what he's missing. Like, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, that's fucking sad that this guy isn't. He hasn't seemed to have made really any effort at all to experience life on Earth, and now he's just gonna leave, or he just wants to leave anyways because of whatever. Yeah. Like, and one of the guys too was a young man from Africa. I don't know where, but yeah, and everyone in his town was like super duper supportive of him, and he was like, really nice guy, like smiling face. He didn't have like any sort of scientific background. I think he might have just been like right out of high school or something like that. Okay. And like, sort of watching it and thinking like, yeah, you know what? Like, maybe this guy's the kind of guy, just because like, I don't know what it, like, like from a very poor community in Africa, and and it's like, maybe this might be the best opportunity he has to like, like no, like, I mean, in all seriousness, to not just become a statistic, and to make this money and give it back to his family and his community, like maybe, but.
Do those people get paid? Like, when I said that, I almost signed it. Like, that's as far as I came to doing it. Is I almost checked into signing it.
Yeah, everyone really thought about it.
Seriously considered checking it out. Yeah. To say yes, but I didn't actually follow any of the videos or hype that followed.
All right. So what about this the Galaxy Virgin Galaxy flight stuff?
That would be awesome.
You think so?
I think so. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But quick to step back for one quick second. What do you think a planet colonized or terraformed only by a small group of bookish late bloomers would be like?
I don't know. Like, I don't fucking know.
That would be incredible.
Like, is this not
know.
anything that we can just send like a drone full of seeds to do? Like, do we need to waste? Do we need to
Our
waste
bookish late bloomers?
this much human life?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, hey, I got my RC car with some, I don't know, grass seed on it. I'll just drive it to Mars. It's like, no, I'll take it. No, don't undo it. No,
Put that down.
Yeah, go
Come
away.
on, Chad.
Yeah.
Stop. Just go outside.
Fucking move out of your house.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is not. It's just crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I look green. I guess. I don't know.
Oh man. So, do you have another question for me?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask about the Virgin Galaxy flights.
And that goes where? It goes up into the stratosphere, yeah?
Just goes up.
And then it comes down.
Yeah, doesn't go full blown into space, but it goes up pretty high.
I think it'd be fun, but I got better things to spend my money on, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the disappointing thing about the Virgin Galaxy stuff is, like, if I'm going to be in space for 10 minutes, I'm going to want to take my seatbelt off and do a scissor flip. Like, that's kind of what I fucking paid for. Like, I didn't spend $20,000 to look out the window and not really see anything. Like, fuck you. Like, I want to take my seatbelt off and flip around a bunch. I don't care.
Right.
And I don't know if you get to do that or not, which seems a little. I don't know. I don't know if you get to do that or not.
We should put an email into Richard Branson.
Yeah,
see what he says.
I'll LinkedIn him. I'll send him an IM on LinkedIn. I think we're on there together. Yeah.
Cool.
And I guess the other thing is that, I mean, if you're going to be up in space for more than because I was reading about hotels in space, kind of and I think that's like the ultimate idea is that you would go up a little bit and there'd be a hotel in space and whatever. Yeah. And like, if you're going to be in space for longer than a couple of days,
how
many
scissor flips can you fit into a couple of days? Well,
you and your wife, or you and your girlfriend, or you and your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever.
You're gonna be space banging.
You're gonna want to space bang. Like that's what's gonna happen. Which is, I guess, really, really very dangerous. The space banging is really very dangerous. Yeah.
Why?
Well,
how could space banging ever be anything but awesome?
Things going around, getting in components and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Like you don't want to space bang. I guess space banging's dangerous. Yeah.
Huh. Who would have thunk it?
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
now we know.
A little Q&A.
Right on.
With Rob Ayers.
I feel much closer to you and the audience now.
Yeah.
I feel a little vulnerable.
This was the last piece of the puzzle. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, so let's just riff on this for a minute. So yeah, I mean, I love Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Love
as you
Event
should.
Horizon.
It's the best. It's the best. And I think one of the things that makes science fiction horror so difficult to pull off is because the nature of science fiction is it's inherently unrelatable. It's really just a slideshow of cool images, and if they can lay a cool or even relatively believable a character narrative in there, great. But it's science fiction. We don't have spaceships that we can just readily fly off. There's not these advanced robots. There's not aliens overtaking the Earth. it's stuff that we can't relate to.
Yeah.
And so as a science fiction on its own, it's really just entertainment. It's just something to distract us, essentially, which is that's not a bag. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And sometimes it can be speculative fiction, and it's all this kind of stuff where it's this is based on this and this is based on science, and Neil deGrasse Tyson gave it a thumbs up and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, science fiction is just that. It's just science. It's just a distraction. But
Yeah.
horror science fiction, that's a weird combo. Actually, it's fun, but it's weird because for horror to be horror, you need to be able to step into it yourself. You need to be able to relate to it and put yourself in that situation to be at all scared for the characters. And
fear of the unknown only works if it's kind of within the context of a known, of a known scenario. You know what I
the
mean?
darkness in the closet is scary because
it's in the closet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a safe place that I know completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know a spaceship that well yet, you know, or an alien planet.
Exactly.
Or I'm not surrounded by this kind of stuff, and so when it's all unknown,
yeah, and that's
who gives a shit?
And that was the really fascinating thing I thought about Event Horizon was everything in that movie was so alien.
Yeah.
Like pardon the expression. But, you know, it was, you know, a spaceship goes to Pluto and and stalls. So they send another spaceship to go and rescue it.
Yeah.
And then they're just trying to leave, and like there's no, you know, no one really gets too crazy about their families, and you know, it's just human beings doing whatever, and they kind of there's no real, they don't really try to ground it in anything, which I thought was really cool. Like the big sorry, I was just gonna say, like the big question that I ask myself anyways whenever I watch a sci-fi horror movie or any sort of period piece or really kind of anything was like, okay, so what needs to be here? Like, could we tell this story in another context? Like, could we, could we, like, does that character have to be white? You know, like does that character, just questions like that.
Yeah.
And
does that killer clown have to be so tall?
Yeah, seriously. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But with Event Horizon, no. Everything absolutely has to take place in space.
Totally.
Like,
yeah. And it's still creepy as hell.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really, really good movie. So good.
I wonder if maybe it's because of that, because they hinged everything on what would you do if you're faced with this much weirdness.
Yeah.
Whereas most movies, usually it's I don't feel it's a matter of what would you do. It's a matter of what these characters are doing. And Event Horizon is really just what would you do? The young buck goes crazy and he blasts himself out the airlock.
Yeah.
And then thinks better of it once he's out there.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. And everyone goes through that. It's kind of similar to the remake of Solaris.
Yeah.
And I really like that one too. I felt like that one was a little more of a horror movie than just straight science fiction.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally. And I think that one was pretty sharp, and it was kind of for the same reasons. Like, what would you do in this situation? And the original Solaris is also good, but that one is really more of like a study. And it's good, but the Steven Soderbergh remake, it's so different from the original, and he took this path of just characters. It's more of just what would a person like this do? Are you that kind of person? Would you act like that?
Yeah.
And so it really hooked me as a audience member and as a storyteller, I think, if I may be so bold.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think that's sort of the thing, and I think that's sort of the reason why all of this sort of shit sort of eventually just sort of degrades into just shooting stuff. Like,
yeah, it's hard to stick to that if you don't have a really tight script and actors to pull it off and a good editor and things like that. If it's a normal or mediocre production, then like you said, it just kind of devolves into the default action.
Like I really like Alien.
I love it.
I think that's a great movie. Not super into Aliens, like
really?
plural. I just, you know what? Like once you give your protagonist like enough just bazookas to defend themselves, like it just doesn't seem like an interesting.
Right.
I don't know. Like the whole
love
slasher
Aliens.
thing.
Yeah, I love Aliens, but I definitely put it in a completely different genre.
Yeah.
Like that's science fiction. That's a science fiction action movie. It's not horror. I love it. I love it to pieces.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different animal. And like because of that, it's like in horror to be horror, I think you need to be up against something that you just can't win against. And in Aliens, they get delivered to the fight with everything they could possibly need.
Yeah.
They lose most of it, and they still have enough to hold their own.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's why I would almost argue that the same sort of thing could be said for Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, except that Terminator 2 is maybe objectively, and I mean that seriously, maybe objectively the greatest film ever made.
Yeah, totally.
That's
understandable.
Terminator 2 is all sorts of genres thrown into one goddamn movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And every single time there's a comedy beat, it works. Every single time there's an action beat, it works. Every single time there's a slasher beat, it works.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck they did it, but Terminator 2 is like 5 movies in one movie, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But
Terminator 2 was the movie that I would watch whenever I got sick. I would rarely get sick, and I rarely do. Like I rarely get a flu or the cold, but when I would get this, I would suffer so hard for 24 hours, and I just wanted to escape from Earth.
Just needed to terminate that bug.
Yeah, totally. And Terminator 2 was my go-to movie. If I wake up and I'm sick as hell, okay, where's my DVD of Terminator 2? Put it in, and I play it, and like that's like my super comfort movie. I need Terminator 2 if I'm going to just push away the world and be, I don't know, happy for a couple hours.
But yeah, I mean, Terminator 1 was very much kind of along the same time, like same line as Alien. Terminator 1 was very much a slasher movie. Like that's kind of all it was. Only it was about a robot from the future instead of an alien.
I love that movie too.
It's a good movie. Good movie.
Yeah. What do you feel about the knockoffs of these movies, especially Aliens? I mean, Aliens really kicked off a crazy slew of knockoffs from every independent or low budget studio around. My favorite is the Galaxy of Terror.
Okay.
Movie. Do you remember this? It's got Sid Haig in it. It's a Roger Corman movie.
Okay.
And it's just unabashedly aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but they try to put in their own little twist. Like Sid Haig is like a monk kind of character who fights with 2 bladed weapons, and he focuses his belief or something on the resonance of blah blah blah, and he dies way too early in the movie because he's really kind of the only reason I checked out this movie.
Yeah.
And it's a bad movie, but it's fun.
I don't, you know what, just like off the top of my head, like, I don't know if I saw too many of the, I don't know, of the crap that
Okay.
Just just the, I don't know, the crumbs that fell off of these
Yes.
delicious snacks. I don't know. I don't know if I off the top of my head, like after we hang up, I'll probably think about 1,000, and I'll and just, I don't know, feel like an asshole for not thinking of anything. But I mean,
check out Galaxy of Terror in particular. This one is really something to behold.
You know, to say it like it's not a good movie, but it's fun. Like that's not.
It's not enough for you. Come on.
I don't know. Actually, it's funny that you even kind of bring it up, because and a lot of my friends have complimented me on. I guess my only natural skill is that I can just say when it comes to, like, even just a movie in a sitting, or I mean, especially a franchise where, you know, saw Terminator 1, saw Terminator 2, both great films.
Yeah.
Terminator 3 came out a while later, and like, you know what? I don't want to see it. Doesn't look any good.
Wow.
Totally fine. Terminator 1 and 2 are enough for me.
Right.
Same with Alien. Like, Aliens. I mean, you know, saw them, like, you know what? You know, Alien 3 comes out. Like, nope. Yeah. Nope. I don't need to see that. Just seem to do it's like this natural ability to just, like, I can just stop. I can just stop if I want.
In the game of cinematic Russian roulette, you can just naturally feel which chamber is holding the bullet.
I can just walk away. It's really good. It's really good. Yep. You're
like Robert De Niro to my Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
In Deer Hunter. I just have to keep going. And I've suffered. I've paid the price for it.
Dude, I mean, like, poor RoboCop. You know, not to get too off track, but like RoboCop 1, I think, anyways, is
flawless.
Probably one of the greatest films ever made. And I'm not being cheeky, like, I'm not being ironic. No. RoboCop 1 is
that's also one of my comfort
a perfect
zone movies.
Movie. Yeah, exactly. And just got turned into like a children's thing.
Yeah.
Like, even I don't. I may have seen RoboCop 2. I can't recall.
RoboCop 2 was that one. I like it, but I think it's because I saw it when I was also kind of young, and it's really brutal.
Yeah.
And it's based on a Frank Miller script. Mm-hmm. And it's not as tight or as sharp as the first one, but there's enough in it to keep me going and to make it feel like a RoboCop movie.
Yeah.
But then 3 is just a mockery of anything I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And 4 I didn't bother with. I don't know. I just couldn't.
And I think that's, I mean, you know, not RoboCop obviously, but if we're talking you know, Alien and Terminator and all of that, like, I mean, it's eventually just going to degrade into mindless, just stupid action. And I love action movies, don't get me wrong, but like, I like a little context with my action, not just, you know, or story, I guess, which is why RoboCop is so freaking good. Yes. Because it's a real movie.
Right.
But it has action and gore, and it's ridiculous. It's such a good fucking movie.
This isn't a series, but it's a series of remakes, I guess.
Yeah.
The Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, you were saying movies. you really liked that. I think one or two summers in a row, years and years ago, I was just like, you know what? Just got to watch all these 60s movies. And I just watched like a ton of them back to back. And
right on.
I'm sure Invasion of the Body Snatchers is in there, but it didn't really.
The original one is cool.
The memory, yeah.
I like it. The 1978 one with Donald Sutherland and Leonard Nimoy and what's her name? I'm blanking on her name. But I and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And Veronica Cartwright. And there's then the main woman. I don't remember her name. It's really stupid, but that one is really good. That's a really tight movie. And then Abel Ferrara did a version called Body Snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is also really good. I mean, there's a billion versions of this
of
story
course.
out there. But I think the ones that are really worth the time it takes to watch them, it's the 1978 version and the Abel Ferrara one.
Yeah.
Abel Ferrara is really, he makes some weird choices in his oeuvre, because he always seems like such an art house director.
Mm-hmm.
But then his movies are just pure, I don't know, like it's not exploitation, but you can show them with a bunch of exploitation movies.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know, I don't think he's ever thought of as just a horror director, but he's made some great horror, and he's made some great grimy, gritty movies.
Yeah.
This dude, I really like his stuff. And yeah, Body Snatchers is awesome. Recently he made one. It's not super recent, but it's called 444, about the end of the world. I didn't see this one yet, though.
Okay.
And, I'd be interested in check that out. I saw one Body Snatchers movie, and it was super cheap. And I have a friend. His name's Cole. And when I lived in Washington, I would go over to his house every Monday night, and he would go to the video store Monday afternoon after he got off work. And he was, maybe he still is, he's a lawyer, and he is in charge of a wildlife reserve rescue area place station.
Okay.
And so he's like this upstanding, cool, activist kind of guy. And he would go to the video store, and he would delight in bringing home just 2 or 3 of the worst, cheapest horror movies he could find. And I mean, the lower the quality, the better. Mm-hmm. As if it looked super shitty, and like the production stills were really just, I don't know, like as bad as you can possibly make it.
Like Leprechaun in Space bad. Yeah.
Cheaper than that. Yeah. Like he loved the really cheap stuff where they didn't color correct anything. They just kind of aimed their camera that they borrowed at something. And sometimes it was really just someone's camera, their pocket camera with a video function.
Yeah.
This kind of shit he would bring home, and we would watch it every Monday night. And he brought home an Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake where it's all going down. It's happening in LA, and the acting is really horrible. The direction, the stories, and then they finally show the pod, the plant pod that is the big threat. And no shit, these filmmakers,
I love how you were able to actually. I don't know, enunciate the air quotes. I thought that was really, really special. Yeah, that was great. Anyways,
I was inspired.
Yeah,
I was inspired by these filmmakers.
Yeah,
yeah. They had gone to the market and bought just a raw root of ginger, and then they stuck it in a little pot or plant, a little pot, and that was the alien. That was the alien. Ginger. Fucking ginger. Just because it looks weird. I don't know if they thought that maybe most people had never seen ginger before outside of the Asian restaurant. But it was at that moment that I knew I had either done something really wrong or really right to be witnessing this movie at this moment.
Before I would like for you to get down off of your high horse for a moment, and before you get back on, I just have 3 words for you.
Yes.
Who's to say?
Oh, huh.
Who's to say that aliens coming down, body snatching all y'all's?
Yes.
Not going to be me. too strong for that.
Right.
Predator won't hunt me. Body snatchers won't snatch me?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Anyways, who's to say that the
Yeah.
body snatching alien doesn't look like Ginger? Right?
It's a good point. It's an irrefutable argument you've presented. It's a
Another victory for binary logic.
yes.
I don't think that was binary logic. That was just a funny. One of my favorite things to say.
Right on.
But yeah, no. I think there's something to be. I think this could be another episode, actually. Now that you mentioned the whole,
Yeah.
terrible.
There's definitely a wide range. I mean, it's a huge market, this science fiction horror.
Well, no, I was going to say the terrible film quality.
Yeah.
Almost the I don't know, urgency of expression almost that you find in punk rock making its way into movies, where it's like, I don't give a fuck, I just got to make this fucking movie. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
and
in the early 2000s, there was like the mid 2000s, there was a lot of it. It was really running rampant.
Yeah.
Around 2005, it really kicked into high gear, and you got these really cheap, fast movies where the special effects were shit, but they got the point across.
Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison with the punk rock that you bring up. That it's really just, they clearly had to try it, and then for some reason somebody was there to distribute it, and just kind of caught on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's interesting, and it would actually be worth kind of going back and looking through. I don't know, just looking through either our own collections and just doing a little bit of research on that, and just seeing if we could find anything like really, really fucking interesting. Like, I don't know, there was that whole mumblecore. I think it was called mumblecore.
Yeah,
It was the subgenre of film, which was all just sort of, it was all improvised scenes. And most of it was just sort of talking head shit. I have never been able to get into any of those goddamn movies. But it's interesting that they were made, and it's interesting that it caught on so hard that, it was given its own genre,
Yeah, and at first I kind of thought that it caught on so hard because it was so easy to do, that it was just kind of cashing in on an easy ride to take.
Yeah.
But then it generates a subgenre around it, or it gets a title, and then there's a group of people, a substantial group of people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so that tells me that my initial, high-horsed asshole judgment could have been slightly off.
Well,
because it's easy to take an easy ride, but not everyone's going to follow you, and it's not going to have any kind of lasting bookmark, but mumblecore does.
Well, are you familiar with how film noir got its name?
Because it was kind of dark.
Yes and no. So when France was occupied by the Nazis, they weren't allowed. They weren't allowed anything from the United States, Canada, any of the Allies, basically anything but from within France or Germany or the rest of the Axis.
Right.
So while that was happening, United States was at war and all of that stuff, and they were still making movies.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the money that they normally had, because all of the money was going towards the war effort.
Right.
So Humphrey Bogart, who couldn't fight in the war because I think he had a shitty foot, or he was flat-footed or something
yeah,
like that.
something like that, yeah.
So he starred in a bevy of these like super duper low budget dime store detective movies that were
these Sam Spade movies and stuff.
Yeah, that were super easy to make. You didn't
Yeah.
have to light them very well, or they didn't light them very well because they just didn't have the money to pay the guys. So they're all really
Right.
dark and, you know, shot around, basically just all shot in Hollywood or around L.A. or
Yeah.
wherever. And yeah, these movies came out over the span of a number of years. But once the occupation was lifted from France, they got all of these movies all at once. So they were able to watch, I don't know, probably like 15, 20 Humphrey Bogart movies
Yeah.
all in the same afternoon,
Night.
I guess, if they wanted to. Then they named it film noir because they just sort of saw it. Saw it all at once, which I think is really, really fascinating, and which is something I try to keep in mind whenever I read like a collection of comics, like when I read a trade, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to think of a new name for it.
No, I try to
As a
think
movement?
like, you know, I read a Ultimate X-Men book a while ago
Okay.
that it was took place in Hell's Kitchen, and like Wolverine showed up and Spider-Man was there and then Daredevil showed up, and it was just like a gunfight. It was just like a 12-issue gunfight, which
Right on.
like as a book it was kind of boring, but to think that they spent a year telling the story of a gunfight is kind of cool, you know. So, but yeah. And then I try to come up with names for it. Like you know, I like to name everything that I.
But it all just devolves into like gun noir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I squint a lot, so yeah, it's a lot of there's a lot of noir going on. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I think we killed this. I think we've digressed a little hard. So
it's like digress noir.
Yeah, we've digressed noired the shit out of this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
right on.
It's I thought that this episode was going to be a lot less sort of cut and dry, but we sort of we more or less sort of agreed on everything, which is I should say you more or less agreed with me on everything. I think is
did you agree with me? Who's to say?
Who's to say? That's correct. Anyways, tell us about some of your favorite sci-fi horror films. Leave it in the comments or email it to us at bighumandead@gmail.com.
Or tweet it to us at WaterlooGN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And so which tell us some of your favorite sci-fi horrors. Tell us which sci-fi horror you think would be most likely. But I think we pretty much answered that question with Predator. I think that. Yeah.
And if your city doesn't have a Danny Glover,
you're the
need
Danny
to rise
Glover.
to the challenge.
Yeah, you need to step up, son or daughter. I got
or
daughter,
or nephew or niece,
or nephew.
As you wish.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on, man. All right, well, good night, everybody.
Good
night, buddy.
Good night, Rob.